And when you're thinking about metal additive kind of over your career, and we'll kind of get back to your career story
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
you're fine.
in from that standpoint of scaling it to manufacture, kind of what are some of the big hurdles that you faced early on, and you probably even still face today, and kind of moving a product or a process into manufacture, into production?
I mean, the biggest thing I always say, and everyone says it, is it depends. So I mean, it's going to be a lot of times dependent on industry. I mean, obviously, I'd say aerospace and medical have some of the highest hurdles to getting a product, say qualified. As far as the interest in it is very high, though. So I mean, there's still a lot of experimentation going on there. But really, I mean, it's just going to depend. Some people have some very hobby applications, for metal additive. And so they have smaller machines and they really have no barriers to entry whatsoever. I think it's just coming up with the design. I still go back to the design, DFAM. That's one of the biggest keys right now that needs to be put out there for folks, because I think a lot of people just need to understand what it can, what a metal machine can and can't do, and that's going to depend based on the type of machine, whether it's a DED, whether it's a powder bed, whether it's a large machine, a small machine, whether it's a binder jet machine. What are the limitations, and so how do you make that happen? But also, it's understanding your product and your process, because I think a lot of times when we go to people, we tend to ask them, what's your biggest problem? And they say, well, I can't get these parts. Well, I mean, and they come to you with, say, just a standard part. I mean, I'll just, think of a cube. They're like, can you make some of these cubes? It's like, I can do that, but you're not, it's going to be more expensive, and really you're not going to get any benefit out of it. You're just going to pay more. But yes, I can get them to you faster. And so some cases faster is key. But I think when we start the education process now and unlock the benefits of design for additive, and we come up with the limits on these machines, we're going to really start to see it open up quickly, because it's going to be intuitive to people. I mean, that's what I think about as we talk about my story. I didn't come up, the additive manufacturing, by the time I got out of college, I don't even know if it was in its infancy yet. I mean, it was a thought, I'm sure. But now, I mean, the kids that are going through schools, I mean, I've got kids in middle school, and I mean, they've got additive machines, right there in the school. So they're getting this concept. The local library here has a maker space now. I think it's amazing. So they're getting to see it firsthand, what it can do. I mean, granted, they still just want to make toys with it. And well, let's face it, I know those of us in the industry have all made toys with it too. So I mean, it's going to happen. But, I think that's one of the biggest keys into this scale up piece, is understanding what you need it for and where it's going to take you. And then how many, what your long-term business case for it is. Because as these machines keep getting bigger and bigger, obviously they get more expensive. And so your business case then becomes a little bit more complex. But again, if you're going to need it, invest in it. Make sure it's the right size for what you need.